So
Obviously, when we're live, just say we're live and then just mute yourself.
yep, we are now live now.
Good evening, welcome to the Wwrl World Championship for the Formula 1 2020 game. We are in round 2 in Austria. I'm your host, Mr. North, known as Ben. Alongside me is my co-host, expert for Formula 1 over the past 3 years, as well as a trialist for Jensen Button's 22 team for esports. Matt, welcome.
Thank you, Ben. Good evening, everybody. We're here at Austria. It's a track that first appeared on the calendar in 1996. That race was won by Jacques Villeneuve. It did take a brief sabbatical, and it was brought in 2004 by Red Bull, hence the Red Bull wing, and it made its appearance in 2014, a race that was won by, obviously, Nico Rosberg, not Hamilton. Anyway.
But let's face it, we're not. When it comes to Nico and Lewis, we're not going to talk about that turn three collision. We're not going to talk about that. No. But no, seriously, some fierce battles over here at the Red Bull Ring. Even recently this year, I mean, especially obviously what happened with Lewis and Alex.
Yeah.
But I can't. I mean, obviously, you're not going to say, "Hey, yeah."
You're a Hamilton.
I'm having fun. I'm not fun, but I'm passionate. But no, literally, it's. How can I put it? I think he turned as much as he possibly could.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I mean, the only reason being, I think probably it took into happen, and it was took into consideration by the FIA was obviously last year at
Brazil.
Obviously in Brazil, obviously it happened again, and obviously that was definitely Lewis's fault. I mean, I'll hands down, hand on heart say that.
Yeah.
But
of course, no, this isn't real life. This is sim racing. Anything can happen. I'm sure even those who qualify in the latter places will still feel confident of achieving a result. We obviously don't know yet what the weather conditions are going to be. You've just come out of a race where it was wet to dry. I mean, how did that go for you?
To be honest, I was actually, when I was talking through obviously the weather on qualifying, it was, when I saw it was going to be wet going into dry, at least then I can try and actually pace myself, make others obviously make the mistakes, and I'll try and do whatever I can. There was obviously a point where obviously I got shooted off towards turn 3, going into the turn, unfortunately broke my wing, but which kind of set me back a bit of the race, coming into the pits for a bit longer than I wanted to. But at the end of the day, coming along after obviously last week's disastrous performance by myself, unfortunately, going out of Scary,
Not Sandoval.
no, okay, we're not going to go with this, right? Yeah, I'm poor when it comes to race names.
Well, that's all right. There are a couple of corner names in this track, but what we'll do is we'll just stick to the numbers.
Yes,
It's a very short track.
Yes, but obviously with people that obviously don't know already, but going up to turn 3, I mean, people think it's turn 2. It's not. There's actually a slight turn up the hill, which is classed as a turn, even though, let's face it, it's not.
Obviously, in these cars with the amount of downforce, a little kink like that, it's going to feel like nothing. However, Red Bull Ring hosts a number of different formulas or GT. It also hosts MotoGP. There was a horrible accident this year going into this corner where a gentleman lost his bike. It actually cut across turn 3 and nearly took out Valentino Rossi, who of course has been doing the MotoGP for years. So it's not going to be a corner in these cars, but it is more challenging in different race series.
Oh yeah, I mean definitely. I mean to be honest, I'm accurate in saying I think this has to be probably the second fastest of the F1 calendar. I mean, versus obviously being Monza, where you're at least down on the power about 84% of the time. This is probably just slightly off. But you're still, when you go into those corners, you're still carrying a lot of speed.
Right, so I'm just going to quickly take you through the short track we've got here. It's only a short track, it's 4.3k, but the Red Bull Ring actually packs a lot into such a short lap. And the first half rewards power, as the cars blast along 3 straights separated by a pair of uphill right-handers. But then as the drivers work their way downhill, the circuit becomes almost a roller coaster ride with several very quick right-handers, including the exhilarating Rindt right-hander, which was obviously named after Austria's first world champion, Rindt. That's the one just on pit entrance. As we can see here, qualifying begins, and 18 minutes for the drivers to set their fastest lap and decide the order for the race. And you see everyone coming out to get an early banker.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, this is actually one of the very sort of surprising tracks, to be honest, when it comes to Formula One, because I believe it is the only one in the calendar where you have 3 DRS zones, literally one after the other, and let's face it, I mean, I can't think of any others who ever do that.
Mexico are back to back after Bahrain, but I mean, yeah, there are 3. There's 3 after, and it's really going to help, especially in the game, to keep people fighting through corner to corner. There's nothing to say that if you lose a place into turn 1, you can't find your way up the inside into turn 3, and then lose that position again into the turn 4 hairpin going downhill. We should see a lot of battling.
Oh, definitely. So, anyway, we're coming up to possibly our first attempt by Red Boy 1 in the Haas number 9 for today.
Medium tyres, then.
He's coming.
He's done a reconnaissance lap. I was
fair enough.
A little bit excited there. I think this was an attempt.
But anyway, don't worry. If once you fail, try again. We're going to go for attack 4001. He does look to be on soft, and he will be starting on his hot lap now.
DRS open as he hurtles down towards turn 1. There is someone just ahead of him. Cuts the corner quite fine there. I don't quite know if that was okay in track limits. He still goes on. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. That's not going to affect this lap. We go towards turn 3 now. Braking very late. It's important now to maximise the curve on the exit like he's done there. And you're going to carry this momentum now all the way down to turn 4, which is the right-hand hairpin here. You get your braking in a straight line. Throw yourself in, take a little bit of curb. Again, using as much road as you dare on the exit. You're keeping yourself here to the right-hand side for the left-hander. Could be followed by another left-hander. Important not to use too much road here as track limits are enforced. Cuts that corner, makes that straight as he can. That's a really good line through there. You come into the right-hander now. He throws that in, hangs it the power on there through the last corner. That's a really clean lap for that.
I will tell this though, literally, that player on the McLaren right now, literally, 1 minute 2, that is literally pushing on actual Formula 1. I think the last one to do a 1 minute 2, I believe, is Valtteri Bottas. I believe that was this year.
That was the qualifying for the Austrian Grand Prix, the first race of this season. Bottas, I think it was a 1 minute 2.2. Of course, that was his second to last lap in qualifying. Obviously, on his last one, he accidentally got onto the grass.
I think I do remember direct as well. The fact that he went off and he tried to come back on, span again, and I think he was actually saying himself, "I'm cutting the grass here," only for his mechanic James, as we like to know. I mean, a classic name, Valtteri, it's James. He even said that. I don't know. We may have a product right there.
Yeah. Right, so we're now just going to ride on board here with a Ferrari SF AS17, is it? Oh no.
No, with a Tempo Tesla on his outlap. Just to be on softs, running number 2. I mean, with Ferraris this year, yeah, he's getting himself like all lined up. But Ferrari this year, has, obviously with what's going on with their engine problems this year, it has really put them back performance really massively. I mean, Charles Leclerc has probably carried that team hands down. No discredit to obviously Seb, but he has done. But Charles has done absolutely wonders with this car.
I think Charles is really going to benefit from this season. The fact that to get a good result, Leclerc is having to drive perfectly because the car is so twitchy that one wrong move and you're facing the other way. That's why you're seeing Vettel Spinala, shall we say, quite a lot. Now, the reason that's going to benefit the player in the long run is that when Ferrari do give him a good car in the future, whether it be the regulation changes, that experience of having to drive perfectly just to get a result is going to benefit him no end. So sometimes you've got to turn the negatives into the positives. Ferrari have a new engine next year. You know, I haven't read much into it, what the early signs are like, but you never know. I think the sport needs as many teams pushing the fronts as it can. Obviously, this is sim racing; it's all equal performance. So, this Ferrari could blitz the pole time. We don't know. It could be an Alfa Romeo. It could be a Haas. But we're just talking about real life right now. As he goes second, actually, he's still about 3/10 off the pole time set by the McLaren there, which is actually an extremely competitive time. I know. I've been pushing so hard just to match that.
I mean, definitely. I mean, for my race, I believe I pulled a 1 minute 46. So if that would probably put me, probably about 7th right now.
Yeah.
At the moment, let's see what we've got going on here. By looks of things, McLaren's going to go for another one.
Yeah, I am looking forward to just seeing this gentleman's driver style as he comes around turn one. He's using all the curb there perfectly. He's just kind of floating his wheel around the sausage curve as the cars just get out of his way.
Been trying to use a bit of toe on that Williams right there. I mean, let's face it, I mean, when it comes to a qualifying, regardless of who's in front of you, a toe is going to happen. It's going to probably take that couple hundreds of seconds off, but it still helps, especially when you're in the DRS zone.
Exactly. He's carrying momentum as he gets on the inside curve there.
Kept that nice.
He's kept it quite tight there. I don't know whether he feels like there might be a couple of hundredths in there if he keeps it tight to the right. I'm just going to come through this high-speed chicane section before coming to the rim curve and then into the final corner.
Oh,
I don't know whether he's extended the track.
That may have extended it a little bit. Just the fact that both wheels were beyond the white lines, I don't think that's going to count.
We'll see here if he's improving or not.
No, he hasn't.
He doesn't improve, so I could assume it was either not as good as a lap, or
is he going for another one? One after the other.
He could be. He could be looking to push again.
He's got the DRS wide open, so I don't imagine he is. I mean, unless he's trying to get whatever he can, so trying to basically get that, out those tyres. So trying to basically wear off that top bit of rubber, and then trying to use the grip underneath to gain probably, I don't know, maybe a couple tenths, maybe a couple hundreds onto that.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to have just going to finish this lap before we have a look at who else is on an out lap. Now, I think it's getting to the point now where a lot of people will be coming in, changing the tyres, getting ready for the next set of push laps here. So we're almost halfway through qualifying. The 1 minute 29 is looking extremely competitive now. So he's backed out that lap into the pit. I want to just ride on board with the racing point of Eugene M10 here. He's currently on an out lap. This will be building up to its first push lap as he hasn't set a time yet. We've got two people that haven't set a time. It looks like he's on the mediums there. I'm not too sure whether this is all race strategy or not then.
Depends on what the weather's going on. I mean, obviously with me, I have to go as quick as possible. He's warming up his tyres. So, he's going to go for it. I mean, kudos to him.
Carries a lot of speed through that last corner.
Very much so.
Really got setting himself up. Let's see. There's a strategy here. Now, I'm assuming if he's looking to set on the mediums, that will be starting enjoying this race, and he's looking to do some form of longer first stint. We'll see here. This is certainly going to throw a spanner in the works of some of the soft runners.
It would be quite interesting to see what actually he does though. I mean, he's on the mediums right now, but is he going to go stretch on the mediums off the bat, or is
if he finishes in the top 10, he'll have to. Especially if it's his fastest lap at the end of the session, he'll have to start. Maybe he knows something we don't as he comes in to use as much curb and really open up that corner. Now into the left-hander here. You see it's a straight line to the chicane. I think just in limits, but I'm not sure. I think he's pulled out of that one.
He's pulled out of that. You can tell he's slowed down slightly. I think he realises it. Yeah. So
So
he
he's
believes he's going to
do-
go for it again.
I'm not too sure if this is now going to be a push lap, or I'm assuming it is.
It's going to have to be because let's face it, he needs that sort of that benchmarker and
Yeah.
then see where he's going wrong, especially when he goes back into pits. Check what sectors he is not doing that well at, where he's losing the most time to everyone else, and probably go for it, and then probably go again.
Yeah.
That looked a bit twitchy coming out
Looks
of that.
very twitchy. I know he got on the inside sausage curve there. It's not something that you really want to be hitting as it breaks traction, and that's a traction zone. The pace you carry down out of that zone, you're going to carry along that straight.
And so far, obviously, our fastest lap is a 1 minute 2 seconds .971.
That was on the first run. That was
no, it wasn't. It was on the first one as well, wasn't it? And also the slowest at the moment is obviously 1 minute 4:45.8. 2 people so far still have to put a lap in the pit,
so I can only assume that Eugene here is going to look to put some softs on. Now we're going to go down here to the Williams, who's on an out lap. He's still looking to set his time. Now he's on the softs, trying to get as much heat. Obviously, the hotter the tyres, the more grip. But we're kind of getting a bit towards the end of the session here. I would have hoped that these guys would set at least a banker lap early on to build upon.
Can I imagine? Yeah, you know what? He just had to get out of the way, get quick there for a second. Otherwise, he would have more likely ruined that Hass's time. But it's going to be difficult if he just it so happens to literally make this lap count.
Yeah.
And then try and get back into the pits as quick as possible. Change those tyres again, and then try and get back out again. He's going to have to put his foot down to try and make that. Make it happen, let's face it.
We go now into turn 1. There are, I believe I just saw a yellow flag.
There was a yellow flag, it's gone green now, so whatever's happened obviously it's been cleared up.
We're now going through the right-hander of turn 3. Textbook, that is, got the power down without too much twitching. We're coming now towards the turn 4 hairpin. Nice. You see what they're doing is just clipping a little bit of inside curb, and that's almost helping the car turn.
Tell you what, I've literally just seen it on the top of the screen right now. That McLaren, he's just gone probably at least just less
than a tenth of a second faster. He's starting to look good for pole, the McLaren. Obviously, the 2 Ferraris in behind as well.
They're looking quite close as well.
4/10 of a second now. With plenty of time left. Let's see where this Williams can put himself here. I think that got disallowed, I think.
It must have probably been on that probably second to the last corner. I wasn't entirely sure if he did go off there a little bit, but I will say this though, he's running them tyres ragged at the moment, seriously.
I am starting to worry about the clock for a lot of these runners now. You'd assume if they're coming in the pits, there's one more lap left now, but there are 2 people, so it's Eugene and KTID, who haven't set a lap yet, so they have to make sure they nail this last lap, otherwise they're not going to set a time. They're going to be starting 13th and 14th. Got a couple of people. Got Bremboy coming out, as well as Desi coming out for an out lap, so the 2 Hasses, Rennie in the Red Bull on an out lap as well.
A bit neater, so we'll see where he goes. He doesn't really go anywhere, to be honest. He only goes up to 2 and puts his name on the board.
I suppose it's something to build on now if he can get himself on a fresh pair of softs. It's just Eugene now, we're waiting for a lap time.
Yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
So let's have a look and see who else we've got. I want to ride on board here with Bremboy running in 5th as he just sets up his lap, coming to the second to last corner. His teammate is just in front of him.
He could possibly get the toe hit.
He could be. Some tactics I highly doubt, but we'll see. Coming through now into turn 1. Very loose on the rear there.
Oh, but right, okay. So,
Some time for session, so I'm assuming he's happy with his lap.
well, no, actually, to be honest, I swear to God, in the background, I did see a yellow flag. So I'm guessing.
It could have been someone coming out of the way.
I'm guessing because I did see a yellow. I did see a yellow flag.
Yeah, that could have been someone getting out of the way. That does generate flags. Stay on board. It could just be that Attack is happy with his lap. Doesn't feel like he can improve. So we'll see if he gets jumped. So we're on board at the moment with Bremboy. His current best time is a 1:697.
I bet that time must be helping him no one.
It's helping him along the straight, but
oh no, that's going to be delayed.
Yeah, that's you need to keep quite a lot. Yeah, you can see he's pulled out of that.
He's pulled out.
Getting heat back.
The thing is, that's not only going to do this lap,
but the others as well.
Yeah, but the others as well.
We're now on board with, is it Borish?
Yeah, I'd say Borish highest.
Borish highest 97. He's now coming through for what I'm assuming will be final attempt. Now he's currently on provisional pole, 1:2.897. Fantastic time. We're going to see if he can improve even more. He swings it, gives himself the best exit he can. He's got clean air in front of him then.
I believe, literally, that was just after the second last point on that exit. I don't know whether or not his
extended the track.
It possibly did, but I guess we'll have to find out. Even if it hasn't, we'll see if it and if he improves.
We will see.
He's got some tone of front though, but I don't know whether or not they'll get out of the way.
Yeah, they're getting out of the way. Getting off of the racing line as should be expected there. That would have generated a yellow flag, obviously, good because it's slow. Also, there's a lock up into turn 4. I'm not too sure if that's going to affect his lap time. He throws himself into the tighter section of the track now through the left hand, and we'll see how straight he can make this chicane. He didn't take much curve there whatsoever.
I think he may be happy with his time, to be honest. He would have expected. Yeah, see, I think he would have taken a lot more of that.
I'm not too sure here. Let's stay with him until it's no improvement. But is that going to be enough now? We're going to ride on board with the second place man Tempo. He's coming round the final corner. Can he improve? Can he challenge the provisional pole?
No, he doesn't.
No, he can't.
The SFAS 17. Now he's in set 2 at the moment. We'll see what he can pull off. Taking a nice and neatly. Oh, I believe he's just touched track. I think I'm not very sure. See, that's the leader though.
He's still pushing.
He's still going for it. Yellow flags in front though.
A lot of curve down. He's pulled out the lap. And with the Mercedes, with the flags coming up, Bremboy is going for one more curve.
That has extended the wall has just extended that. We're on board with Jesse Formula A maybe. 1. Let's see what he pulls up. He looks to be absolutely going for it. Nicely done. Oh, he's only gone and ruined that for himself, really, hasn't he?
Well, I think it's safe to say Boris has dominated that qualifying. An absolutely fantastic job there. 1:2.897 is about as close to real life pace as you can get.
I will say this though, Eugene didn't put a lap time in.
Eugene didn't put a lap time in, so look, he'll be starting last. I'm sure there would have been a reason for this, but I have to say overall it's some highly competitive lap times, and I wouldn't rule out either of the Ferraris to get involved for the race win here. But the McLaren driven by Borish that's a fantastic lap. 3 tenths ahead of the nearest challenger.
I will say this though, then Ferraris seem to be locked on point. I mean, look at that. Not much in it. Let's face it. Especially in that top 10, that everyone else is within that 1 second of obviously when it comes to the lap times until it gets to that plus 1 second 1:42.
Just having a little check, see if there are any time penalties being handed out, but no, there's no time penalties. Just checked on the race director there. So we're going to be loading into the race now.
Question is, what's the weather going to be like?
What is the weather going to be like? Now, I'm assuming that with Eugene looking to set his lap on the mediums, I'd assume he maybe knows a bit more than me.
It
It
looks
looks dry. We don't know if the weather's going to change. The drivers will get that information. But I have to say, the Ferraris look good, but if the McLaren of Borish can really nail his race pace, which is a different talent than one lap pace, but if he can nail the race pace, he's going to be a tough customer around this lap.
Well, we're in Austria, home to, I don't know, probably two chaps that I know we know that are Formula One champions.
Yeah.
But one of them didn't get to lift the trophy.
Yeah, Jochen Rindt. So he won his championship. Unfortunately, he passed away in an accident at the Austria chicane around Monza before he could actually lift the trophy. Right, so we're just going to
do the
formation lap now, guys.
I will say this though. I mean, of the two Austrians, I mean, Niki Lauda probably one of the greatest probably Formula One drivers of all time. Not because of his ability to race, but his tactical as well as technical abilities.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. I mean, he was a chap who, let's face it, he fought his way into Formula One.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he did a great job of it.
Yeah.
And Niki has actually influenced probably a lot going on with the model Formula One. I mean, he was probably the reason why Lewis obviously went to Mercedes. He also, well, let's face it, obviously had that horrendous crash in the Nürburgring, and obviously set the car light. But let's face it,
we've got a couple of people showing up as DSQ. I'm pretty sure that just means they've disqualified from the formation lap. They must have just had a little bit of contact down there. Boris, that's a relatively fast formation lap. So I hope he's getting enough heat into his tyres.
Maybe. But anyway, sorry, going back to obviously Niki Lauda. Obviously with the latest crash, obviously with Romain Grosjean. Do you think that obviously what happened with obviously Niki Lauda? Do you think that probably influenced obviously with the safety precautions obviously that Formula One have made obviously throughout the years of Formula One?
Every time there's a nasty accident, they always look to improve. Whether it be Senna, whether it be Jules, every time there's an accident, you have to sit by and say, look, how can we make this safer? It will never be entirely safe, but you know that's why they do motorsport. There is a thrill to it. We're getting ready now. Everyone's lined up on the grid for a race start.
It's 5 lights, and it's lights out.
We're a little bit of a delay.
There must be a delay, yeah.
I mean, you're going to nick the coffee.
Yeah, I'm going to nick the coffee. And it's lights out, and away we go as we come to the first
It's a
corner.
fantastic start.
For the inside line, and he takes it.
Oh, there's contact.
There is contact. He's come back on the track. He's picking up the second. That is
It's a horrible start.
Horrible start for SF AZ17. But I will say this though, Tempo Tesla has taken obviously
the
advantage.
lead, and the two Hasses are on the podium as well, battling amongst themselves in the background.
I tell you what, Boris Heiser 97, he's fallen down to 7th.
He had a bit of a stuttery getaway there, and he turned back in. So before he had the inside line, he had the better start. You can already see Tempo. He's pulled out over a 1 second gap already.
I mean, this to be honest, I don't even know. Yeah, there is damage to that front wing on the Ferrari's
SF7. Yeah, so there's damage. You saw that he went into the barrier, came back across the track.
I think that was more like that'll be either a red or an amber. That will be.
Yeah, I'm not.
So we'll see if he comes in.
Yeah, he's good.
And he's going to have to. If he's going to keep up pace, yeah, he's definitely.
Probably just check Boris and just see if he has any damage himself.
He looks to be quite clean on that.
So that was a lucky boy for sure. Well, He's a bit of a mad start, and as I said, guys, this is at the end of the day esports, and he was dominant in qualifying and won the state, and he's now got it all to do here.
Just look at Marty FIFA versus 1966. Both of them are going into the return.
Oh, both are locked up.
They just
It's up there. They're both locked up. I think that.
There we are, though. Look at this spin battle going on at the back of them.
We've got the Red Bull of Jesse Formula and the Tuas and AlphaTauri and the Racing Point of Eugene, all battling through the tight twisty sections of Sector 2. We've got a couple of medium runners here.
Tell you what, we're one on board with Jesse
Formula, there's a little knock there as that's go right. Going to try and throw it back underneath Eugene. I'm not too sure if there have been any penalties handed out yet. I'm sure we can check that later. I think we have got a penalty for the fourth place man on the wall.
I can only imagine what that was probably for. All this we'll find out after this. Can we find out
There's
now?
battling up and down.
With
It's a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, so he's just been exceeding the track limits by the looks of things.
so nothing extensive at the moment. We've got warnings with collisions, but nothing too hefty. Going on with Eugene and Bassi.
Eugene launched it down the inside and he's in the grass. He has to come off the front and then contact from behind.
I mean,
And Jesse's now on. He's on. That's so unfortunate for him.
See if he's actually got some damage. I believe that is that. Yeah, that front left wing. He's on its things. He
Looks like at least the end plate's come off.
Yeah, better look at it.
Yeah, the end plate's been
yeah,
knocked off. And 3-second penalty for Katie Ed. 1, 2, 3, 3 more multiple warnings. We also have Desi who has a time penalty as well. If we can just check in with third and fourth places, it looks like that their time is close. Now we have DRS open, so we have the wall. Sorry, there's Boy. The two passes are battling. The wall's just behind. As Desi is going to look to launch one at the inside. I think he's just a little bit too far back.
Yeah.
He does the sensible thing now and pulls out the north.
I mean, so far, it hasn't been boring. I mean, everyone hasn't been in line and then taken their places. They've actually been probably battling out, and unfortunately, sometimes they've made a mistake and probably screwed it for themselves. There is a yellow flag. Why is there a yellow flag?
I think someone's cut himself onto the grass.
I believe it is
virtual
attack.
safety car. Virtual safety car ban.
Attack. Literally, it is attack 4001, who does have a complete whole wing missing. He's going to have to come in.
Into a big incident there. He comes in, he can barely get the car turned. Right now, let's just check on board with the man in the lead, Tempo Tesla. Now, big gap, 2.4 seconds. We are under virtual safety car. He's looking comfortable at the moment, I will say.
I mean, definitely, and with the softs as well. I mean, he's got that all that clean air. I mean, he isn't battling with anyone else. He hasn't got any dirty air, so he can literally just simply ride off into the distance. But this is a power track. It is meant for speed. People can get onto new rubber. They can literally put the hammer down and they can simply just go for it.
That's it. I think we'll ride on board with him if we can.
We've got a little bit of a
bit of a battle going on between the wall and Desi. So this is spilled over obviously from the virtual safety car. The wall is right on his tail through the middle sector. There is going to this
DRS.
A bit of DRS track there. And obviously, Boy, he's vulnerable. He's not going to have DRS.
Leeds have literally just got a 3-second time penalty, but not entirely
I think it was Eugene. He was the only one who didn't have a symbol next to his name. Right, so we're going to come up the long run here to turn 3. DRS for Debbie, DRS to the wall. Boy's got about 5 seconds. I don't think anyone's going to launch on him now. But again, we have DRS activated pretty much straight away out of this corner. And this battle going on here is going to, for the final 2 podium places. The gap is coming down to first place, about 1.3 seconds. Maybe his tyres got a little bit cold during the virtual safety car.
We'll say this though, there is getting a bit of a battle between these two. Someone's come off. Eugene has left the
come
session.
off. He's left the session.
I think he has left the session. I think that may have been a rage quit, bless him. Let's face it, this week, today hasn't gone his way, has it? I mean, he has had multiple warnings. He's had, he didn't accept qualify, and now he's just obviously just left the race entirely.
Yeah.
So, I believe that'll be it for him. Anyway, these two at the moment, KTID 123 and Marty FIFA. Look at them two coming close together.
Marty has DRS. He makes his one. KTID makes his one defensive move, but he's been burned on straight. Oh, he's going to look to come back inside. That could have been a nasty accident.
I believe there was a slight bit of contact, but not too much. God, this is
There,
incredible.
wheel to wheel.
Turn 3.
Inside line for KTID. Yeah. He's going to be later on the brakes. Can they dare? They both coming through the inside line.
Oh, that's nice, isn't
KTID,
it?
very nice bit of racing there.
That's fantastic. Generally it is. Oh,
Coming back at him. KTID.
Marty FIFA. Oh, that looked to be a double move there.
Bit
That
twitchy.
looked like a double move there, especially coming both. That probably 3 to be honest. Going from right to left to right again.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you're
you're only allowed one defensive move. So this is now forming a little bit of a train all the way back to Rennie.
Boy has literally just got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings.
Penalties are going to definitely decide a huge amount of the grid's outcome. Was that KTID going wide there, or was that? No, it was Fasabi.
Yeah, I believe so. By looks of things.
Marty FIFA comes into the pit. I'm not sure whether that's a prepared stop. It would seem a little bit early for a one stop.
No, I believe there looks to be a bit of a battle between.
And these four again.
Seriously, what is Drezzy and Fanboy?
Definitely helping out the Ferrari. You can just ease his tyres and he's not having to battle, whereas these guys are taking shots out of each other's rubber. They're also slowing each other down as well, but you're not going to let someone pass. It's the two Hasses followed by the Williams battle all the way through. Oh, one of the Hasses got onto the grass there.
I will say this though, I've got a feeling that the Williams, the wall is probably going to come out better on here, because let's face it, not very few people can keep the traction with the dirty air.
Yeah.
And as soon as that traction is gone, someone's going to become a passenger.
Yeah.
That, well, let's face it, the wall 02, it's going to go right past. The Bollockson's got already
Good
got
exit,
off
good
first.
exit from there. He's going to come up. Looks like he wanted to choose the inside line early here. He's going at the inside of his teammate. What a
That is lovely.
textbook at the switchback from Bremboy. They're going to go wheel to wheel all the way down to turn 4. It looks like Desi, they're so close to contact as Desi just comes inside of the braking zone. Bremboy almost washed out there on the brakes right into his teammate.
I can seriously see these two coming together. This is going to end. This is not going to be a good day for Haas. I can only imagine that if these two definitely are teammates and they do talk about strategy. Let's face it, I believe that these two are going to be having words, especially in Discord later.
That got extremely close there to contact. That really would have changed everything. So KTID's got another time penalty, another 3-second penalty. Riding on board with the two passes, and the battle for second, third and fourth place is pretty much the closest battle on the circuit right now. I know KTID's close to Rennie, but we're right on board with this. It's a ramification for the big position here. Desi defends really well there. Bremboy just waiting patiently for his chance as they come now hurtling all the way down towards turn 4. We've got Bremboy switched early, walks that inside line into the hairpin, into the braking zone, going wheel to wheel.
What racing
really,
this is!
Really fantastic racing, and I believe Bremboy has the position going into the tighter sections now. This is good. That was good, clean racing.
That was clear, and literally given the room, especially going into turn 4. I mean, like we discussed before the start of the race, obviously what happened with Lewis and Alex, that is definitely how that incident, in real life this year should have happened.
Yeah.
So, Lewis, Alex, take note. These two can race.
Okay, so the wall's now pretty much right on the rear wing of Desi. Now, he won't want to lose 2 positions, but obviously all this fighting is benefiting the Williams because he can just sit behind. And I think he's gonna have to look to defend as opposed to attack.
I believe Eugene has joined us for some reason somehow. How's
I'm
this
not too
happening?
sure if that was a glitch or
It may
not.
have been a glitch.
Maybe would have been some form of technical difficulties. We don't know. Right now, Desi's back on the attack on his teammate. Is he going to look for the inside line? No, they're into the braking zone. Steady. They are right on each other's gearbox.
I mean, there must have been like they've been like this for at least 5 laps right now. How are they running away from them, especially the fact that they are right up each other's rear? I mean, only time can tell on how well this is going to pan out. Another, obviously, glitch there from Eugene M10. Obviously, he's left the lobby again. Don't know how this is happening, but here we go.
Right, as the Williams maximises his track there. A pit window is open for one-stop strategy to the mediums. As we're going to go now, still on board with this battle for second, third, and fourth place. It's the closest battle on the field right now, for sure.
I will say this, I mean, this is the closest battle, but who is actually on the... What is going on? There we go. Who is on the mediums? Okay, so we've got a couple at the moment. We've got Remy SF and Basby. They're both on the medium compound. There's got one on the whole compound.
So it's Boris who started on pole. He's clearly looking to go to the end of the race on these tyres.
Or, I mean, let's face it. I mean,
this is a one-stop. He actually must have had damage, so this must be a one-stop.
He did. I do remember he did have damage right at the start. Unless he could try to take these all the way to the end, and then possibly, if he has the gap, I mean, who knows?
And I believe Desi's Bremboy is pitted, so that's going to release Desi into second place. He's now got a bit of a gap on the wall. He's also in the pit. So
Desi literally just picked up the tennis ball. He's cutting
so penalties are all going to add up now, guys. They're going to be forced to serve them in the pit stop. So it could be anyone's game again coming out. What I will say is, at the moment, flawless race management from Tempo in the lead.
I mean, obviously, yeah. I mean, obviously he's going past the back mark, and it's obviously blue flags given to the Red Bull there. But he's keeping calm. He's not under any pressure in any way, shape, or form. He can basically carry on with this all the way to the end, but he has to make sure that he doesn't get any penalties. Mm-hmm. He needs to keep those tyres going, especially at the right temperature. And let's face it, keep a cool head. That's all you can do, especially in this time. Don't let the race get to you. Let the race come to you.
He's coming in now. Tempo is absolutely dominated the first part of this race. Been flawless management. You can see Desi coming into the pits as well.
I think that may have been a reaction, possibly. You never know.
I think his teammate
He's gone
did
straight onto the hard, so he is
straight onto the hard. So I guess Tempo feeling maybe that he can, maybe feels like getting to the end of this race from lap 14. The mediums would have worn off.
Desi, he's gone to the hard as well. Ooh, I think he managed to put the inside of the pit wall there as he was on his exit.
Okay, we'll have to keep an eye on that. So we've got Bremboy and Boris very close together here as they go into the battle. It's going to get DRS here. Boris is only rather old by now. Hard tyres. I don't think he's going to be able to launch one at the inside here, but Bremboy. Oh, there's a big lock up there from Boris, maybe feeling the pressure of the hat in his mirrors there.
I will say this though, look at the steering wheel. I mean, look at his ERS deployment. That is very low. He's going to need to go onto
He's definitely pushing.
He's definitely going for it.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's going to need a couple of laps without pressing the overtake button, I think, just to give it a charge. Boris, we know he's got a lot of pace. He's found himself back at fourth. Tempo is, I believe, only 8 tenths behind Remy, who has a time penalty. I'm not too sure if he still needs to or not.
We'll say this, so there seems to be a bit of battle for 10th and 9th here.
We've got KTIV just behind as well.
We can only see how this pans out. Pack has got the attack mode on now. So fun. He'll have the DRS. He doesn't look to have a lot of DRS deployment on the steering wheel, but let's face it, will he use it now?
As we can see, Tempo's moved himself back up into second place there. He's 3 tenths behind Wasabi in the lead. 3 seconds, sorry, not 3 tenths.
There is a slight battle as well.
Yeah, Kate.
With going on over here. I mean,
For the
they want to
final
get their points.
For the final points position, all the way up to Eugene in 9th, KTID in 12th, they're all relatively in the same part of the track. As the Ferrari looks to almost nudge attack through there, nudging through the corner by the looks of it. That couldn't have been any closer.
Well, so, I mean, I don't think there's any damage to the fact that he's still keeping on to him.
Yeah, he's pretty much puzzling through those corners. I think attack is actually on the softer medium compound as opposed to, SF AS17 is on the mediums.
Yeah.
Attack goes very well right now. That's really good effective. In fact,
He's still got the
he's
DRS.
still got the DRS.
But he won't be having it in the next corner. And by the looks of it, look at that ERS. He's got tons of it. He's going to be using this right now,
He's going to be
surely.
attacking right now. I'm not too sure if it's too far back to launch run into turn 3, but got DRS again right after.
He's going to have to wait
Oh,
probably one more turn.
Oh, Bremboy in the wall, they're battling side by side. Here.
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
This is close, there is contact!
Contact! But
Williams just manages to stay on of the wall. They battled around the top of section. You can see now SF-AS17 has got past Attack. Attack Attack's got him by. We've got a lot more wheel-to-wheel racing going on for the last 2 points paying positions. And I think SF-AS has just about got the inside line into that left-hander there. There's a lot of close battling going on. As we can see Borish now in P4, right on the rear wing of Remy SF. He's switched early for the inside line into turn 3, and that's a cut and dry move there. Moved himself into 3rd place now after the disastrous start he had. He's doing a great job.
have you had an energy drink tonight?
No, I'm just really excited. I'm so excited.
I'm not this seriously. I mean, this could probably be just as good.
He's on the medium. I think he started on the medium and he's doing a long run there. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. It looks like SF-AS17 has retired from the session.
Let's have a look. Let's ride on board with Eugene because we might be able to find out what actually
virtual
happened.
safety
It
car.
is a virtual safety car. What has happened?
Now, him
Um,
and KTID 123 were battling very hard.
I believe that if that front right was still on. I'm guessing it's that front left that possibly collided with the wall. I mean, obviously, what happened was me in the.
This is big. Wasabi's taking this opportunity to hit him the virtual safety car. I don't think it's going to stay out long enough. But in all of the drama, Borish obviously is on much older cars. Finds himself back up to second behind Tempo, who stole the lead in the first corner. And as we can see, attack falling down, battling side by side with KTID. Still, we can go up to 10th there. And now KTID still launch one back up the inside of Marty. They get extremely close. Marty goes very wide there.
I think there may have been contact with there, but I think what Marty tried to do was basically back himself out of that.
That's very accurate here. I think the wall is up to 4th place. He's got Remy on his rear wing as well. So let's have a look at this battle now for what will be the final podium places. And we've got all the way from Bremboy in 3rd place to 6th place, all battling along the same point of the track here for the final podium position. It's anyone's.
Tell you what, Desi's coming up literally up behind Remy as well. Look at this. Seriously, 6th, 5th, 4th and 3rd are an absolute battle to watch here at the
He's
moment.
got DRS on the Red Bull. He switches early for the inside line.
He takes
And
that
that's
with
cut and
ease.
dry, but the Red Bull's going to come right back at him. Here's Remy's. And Remy's now got the inside line for the next turn. He is on the softer, but I think
Well, not using the DMS.
they must have just gone through the detection point very close. Well, Desi, the wall, right on the ring of Bremboy for the final podium place now.
He's going to probably go for it
He's
on the
going to
inside.
launch one up the inside. This can be contact.
Well to well.
And a believes the Wolves got the
That is
final
bad,
point in
really
place.
well
Really
played.
good
Really
racing.
well played. This is really good stuff, especially for third, fourth, and fifth, and
Yeah,
sixth. This
absolutely.
is fantastic.
I think we should ride on board with these guys just for a little bit while they're this close together. Because this is for the final.
Tell you what, I'm
podium
going to have to
race.
cut you there because look at Marty. These two are going for it as well.
Okay, these guys are
A bit of a lock up though from Marty. But let's face it, he might be able to get back on it, especially with the toe and taking it nice and calmly. Is he going to gain anything?
They're very stagnant through there, but he's exactly where he wants to be. So he can keep this gap up through the final few turns. He can definitely get KTID in turn one.
We'll see if he stays
Ei vielä pysty,
out
kun
of
tässä on
that
tää
race
keskiä.
yet.
Onko sulla keskiä?
By the
On.
looks of things, KTID
Kyllä.
went a bit
On
wide
2 kisaa
there, but
putkea.
will that face into
Viimaksi
Montana?
kummankin.
Coming up to
Joo.
the first corner, DRS is activated. He's going to have to wait for one more turn. Going up the hill to turn 2 and 3. DRS is activated. See if we can ride up the board along.
KTID wants to defend the inside line, and I don't blame him. That's what I'd be looking to do.
The reason why I don't think that turn was made, because if you look at his steering wheel, he used to overtake too much, I believe.
Got a yellow flag in sector 2, and it looks like the Mercedes of Lightning is off here. There's a safety car, full
There's a
course yellow.
safety
Full
car.
course
This
yellow.
is our first safety car of, I believe, this series.
Oh,
Right in the
he's
middle there.
Right in the middle of the road there. It looks like one of the tyres on the front has come off.
We're on
Eugene
board with
comes round this
Eugene.
corner.
Let's have a look. I mean, there's a bit of shrapnel there.
I think he's
It's
coming
the-
in. It's a lot of the
It's,
tyres.
I believe it's then back
Right.
too.
I think what's happened there is he's hit the inside wall, whether he's spun it on exit. Look, a lot of the players are going to use this opportunity to see a lot of people pitting right now. Who hasn't pitted, Ben? It's
Tempo. This could play into Boyish's hands.
He's going to have the
Especially
fresh rubber on the medium. Has Tempo got enough? I don't think it's behind the safety car. He's not going to have enough time to pit. This completely changed the aspect of the race here.
I mean, let's face it. I mean, when it comes to race day, mediums are always going to be that slightly bit faster. They're probably going to not have as much grip as the hards, but my God, you can put some blistering laps in with this.
Yeah, I agree.
But let's see how long
Luck up there
this
is
safety car is going to be helpful. I've got a feeling it'll be this lap
could be 2 or 3
and
laps.
then.
They've got to wait for the field to bunch up after all. There's a lot of pit stops going on up and down the field now. This is going to have huge ramifications for the rest of the race. As Tempo didn't have a chance to pit, he's now going to be on the old softs, vulnerable to attack from Borish, who had a dreadful start. Made contact with SFAS 17, the other Ferrari, and now it looks like he's got the driving seat there. I'm looking forward to seeing these two battle.
Definitely. I mean, this safety car has literally probably brought a lot more life into this.
Yeah.
But, I mean, let's face it. What's Tempo saying right now? Is he going to say, Lewis? The car's driving too slowly?
Yeah. I tell you now, he'll be cursing his luck that he couldn't come in to do this extra pit stop. Most of the other drivers have had the chance. He will be cursing where he was on the field when that came out.
You have, including this lap, 14 laps to go. 13, obviously, probably more likely when the safety car comes in. So
it's going to be a sprint race to the
It will be. I mean, let's face it. I mean, everyone, all they have to do now is keep their cool. Ooh, a bit of late braking there from Borish there.
Look, generate heat from the braking into the rears.
Let's have a look on what's going on with the tyre, shall we? Obviously, Tempo is on the hard, Borish on the mediums. On mediums. So, Reddy's on the softs.
He's taking the risk. I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to get them to the end of he'll be able to get them,
I mean,
but they'll be well past their best.
Possibly only get, what, 5 decent laps?
They degrade very quickly. That's why they're the qualifying tyres. Right, let's have a look at the Sabi.
Sabi is on the medium.
Desi, Attack medium.
Yep.
KTID medium. Marty FIFA medium. Eugene's on the softs as well, so we've got another alternative strategy. And we go to
be honest, I'm not going to lie. I think the reason why Eugene's probably got this, I think he's going all out. He's going to have to. I mean,
he's
he
going
has
to make up places quick.
Definitely. I mean, let's face it. He is basically going for it. By looks of things, we are Stacking up.
Still
No,
behind.
yeah, we're going to go for
at
probably
least
one more.
We've got to wait for Jesse to get himself on the back of the pack.
And he'll be doing that very easy.
Jesse Formula 1, I'm guessing that is going to be pronounced with an A. He is on the mediums. We had a full rundown. Tempo's extremely vulnerable to at least we've seen great pace from Borish to come back from the incident in the first corner. The Wall and Brembo have been battling all race long here. Waiting for Jesse to get on the back of this pack.
He's taking his bittersweet time about it, unless he's trying to keep the temperatures trying to keep those tyres very nice and warm. He's probably got the best pace at the moment, trying to use the speed to keep them tyres warm. Everyone else, they're going to be fighting to keep them tyres warm, especially when it's coming such cold. Is it worth switching now on board to first place Tempo and getting the overall race view as we get ready to restart the Austrian Grand Prix here? We'll be looking to slow down. I do believe the safety car will be coming in this lap.
There you
are. Safety car is in this lap. Now we've seen Ben a lot of. Well, we've seen these two fight into turn one before, but the boot is thoroughly on the other foot now. We've got Borish on those shiny new mediums. We've got old hards on Tempo. It's going to be a hell of a drive here if he can keep Borish behind. This is the one we're going to have to watch here. Yeah, this battle for first and second. As they will start slowing down now. Obviously, Tempo is going to pace the field until the finish line. No overtaking until the finish line, just for those who run away. It looks like he's gone early and caught the landing. Behind it looks like the wall's got a bit of a rock here on Borish, but not quite close enough yet. They're all going to come hurtling. There's going to be no DRS for 3 laps. It's just like a new race start. That's the way to think of it. It will be more to the point of the fact that everyone's going to be using the push
They're all safe fuel, so they'll all be, I'm assuming, on rich mix.
They'll be using rich mix. They've obviously collected the ERS. All of them should be been up to 100 at that point, unless, let's face it, someone's called a boomer.
Yeah.
But this is no one makes boomers.
Right, so very tight all across the field here. I don't believe anyone's made any positions up yet. The wall is right on Borish's gearbox now. I'm very surprised the Tempo went extremely early then. It's caught everyone napping. Having said that, Borish is, I think there was a mistake from Tempo. He looked to have gone wide, and that's going to cost him all the way down this straight. Borish is going to look to attack. Tempo decides, I want the inside line, and I think Borish is happy to let him, if I'm honest. As Eugene sets the fastest lap of the race at 1:05.8. He's using overtake now. We'll see what he's going to wait for DRS.
Lead Tempo is using the same thing. Yeah, he's using overtake to try and defend that position. He's going to try and do whatever he means possible to make sure he gets in the lead, especially through those DRS zones. But let's face it, when you're in first and you're coming up to a DRS zone with someone right on your tail, let's face it, it's not exactly one of the greatest positions to do.
DRS isn't open yet. It will be open at the end of this lap now, because we just have the safety car. The Tempo slowing down on the apex there just to make sure we can maximise the speed.
Let's face it, if this was you now, Matt, I mean, especially obviously the fact that you were in the Jensen Button's trial team for the 22s esports team, I don't know, would you probably use an alternative strategy if you were Tempo right here?
The grass there. There isn't really much he can do other than drive flat out for the rest of the race. He can't, if he pits now, he's coming out last. Eugene picks up the time, Kenny obviously. The two we're following now don't. Borish is going to look to go a long way around. No, he's going to look to throw back. Tempo parks it beautifully on the apex and stops the cutback, which I do believe.
There is a yellow flag. There is a yellow flag. There's an attack
on Borish. He's going to look to go for the lead here. There is contact. Borish just keeps it on the tarmac there. I think Desi's lost a lot of places, as has attack.
Then two did come together. I mean, there was a 5-second time penalty on attack with collision with Desi.
All right, so definitely something has happened there. We are sorry we didn't get that, but we're following the battle for the lead here as Boris again coming into the ring curve, into then the final corner. He's right on his gear.
So is the wall. That's the thing. I mean,
We
could
can see
Tempo lose out 1 and 2 here?
KTID with another time penalty, and Tempo again, he's just defending it so well right now. He's going to have to keep up. I don't know what he can do here.
Riding on board now with Boris. He hasn't activated overtake mode. He has now. Going up to the turn 3. Oh,
Tempo's
that late.
so late on the brakes.
But anything much to do with Boris's wing. Not entirely sure.
Boris is making a pass for the lead. I don't know if Tempo's going to give this up easy. I think he's going to have to. Although there's a lock-up. Oh my God, that nearly created an effect here, and now we can see Tempo's going to, in a battle for second now with the wall. The wall looks to go around the outside. There isn't going to be much room there, and he has to pull out of that move.
Tempo's probably had to put... He's having a bit of a battle with
He's having a huge battle through these sectors now, and now you're seeing the effect of these older tyres and all these people running their new mediums.
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, with the heart, and especially Red Bull is now back
of this battle. This battle is for second place. The Tempo now comes under battle, and Boris can just launch it back off into the lead. He's got a 1.3 second gap, and it's growing all the time. Tempo now has to defend from the wall. The wall switches early. He wants that inside line. He's going to get it, and he's probably going to get the position as he cuts quite aggressively across the front wing there of Tempo. But it's a clean move. There was no contact. The wall could get after Boris.
Just look at the times at the moment, especially second, third.
Tempo's going to come back. He wants the inside line. Oh, that's a good news. Oh, it's a fantastic switch back from the wall. He's got a round of applause in the booth.
You don't tend to see Crofty or Martin do that, do you?
No, you don't. Now Tempo, look at this train behind him, all these people.
Eugene coming into place. What is this? Where's this come from? He's coming up. He's literally on equal terms.
He's going to go down the inside of the
There was contact between him and the
Eugene up to third. This alternative strategy looking good.
But the thing is, can he keep the temperature in those tyres and the wear down to a minimum? That's the thing with the softs. They deplete so quickly.
And we can see here Randy now hitting fast Tempo, and as for
them two are literally coming together. Desi's been given multiple warnings. That's a pet.
Yeah, they're going wheels to wheels, and almost reminiscent of Verstappen and Leclerc. The Red Bull cuts the Ferrari off track and says, "See you later, son."
God, love that news. I will say this: Eugene is right up there. He's taking
it. Tempo's fallen from that's down to 6th. He's gone off the track. I think he's going to be losing quite a few places now, and it's just all gone wrong for him.
I mean, what a race! This is such a good race so far.
It's a good race so far. Safety cars, it all looks under control. But to miss that pit stop has changed the entirety of this race. And Eugene and Remy, the two soft runners, with the alternative strategy up to third and fourth.
Seems to be a bit of a DRS train here, though.
Yeah, at the moment, a bit of a DRS train for what looks like third place, really. Yeah, look, the Red Bull of Remy, Eugene, we've got Bremboy, Tempo, KTID, all battling for the final podium place as it looks like the wall. Oh, and we've got Bremboy going up the inside of Eugene there, and also, no, sorry, I thought someone else had gone up the inside, but no, it's just Eugene losing the place to the Haas of Bremboy.
Look at the wall making the move on Remy. Oh,
that was Bremboy. Oh, Eugene's gone into the grass, and Tempo's going to want that position back. They're going to go wheel to wheel through the tight section. There isn't a lot of room for two cars, but they are respecting each other's space, so that's all good in my book.
Got to respect the space, especially on this track.
You've got Bremboy right on the gearbox now. I wonder, are these soft tyres starting to go off?
It would not surprise me. I mean, let's face it. I mean, look at Boris. I mean, he's now first. I mean, seriously, at the moment. I mean, I know it's early. It's 31, 30, it's 36 at the moment. 5 laps to go. He's my driver today.
He's
He
driven
is
so well.
absolutely fantastic.
I've been impressed with the two passes myself. I've really enjoyed watching Bremboy race. The wall's been impressive for me. But, I mean, you can't argue that. He went down to 7. He made a mistake in the first corner. He made the alternative strategy work. He went onto the hards early. And then he, let's say he got a bit of luck with the safety car, but he needed a lot of luck because Remy and Bremboy are now battling side by side for the final podium fight.
Seriously, this can go down to the wire. I mean, literally, at the moment, we do not know physically what penalties they've got. I mean, honestly,
Everyone's got a penalty other than Basabi.
Basabi, I mean, giving you credit, mate. I mean,
Yeah.
you've been the clean one for today. I mean, let's face it, you and me have had some races in the past. I mean, I've gotten a lot better over the literally over the course over a couple of races.
Yeah.
But I was quite dirty. But it's only because obviously your style. That's the thing, because you tend to race a lot on single races. And we've got Eugene and Remy going side by side here, going into turn 3.
Two soft users now. That's going to help Bremboy here just go off on a 2-car battle. I don't know.
Tempo coming back into the pit here. He's going for one down the inside.
And he's going to get that position, or is he? No, there's a switch back. Bremboy got onto the Tempo got into the grass, and Remy holds 5th place. I'm just going to...
I think them tyres for Tempo are going to be absolutely plummeting now.
Yeah,
let's face it.
unfortunately, he did get unlucky. He was controlling the race. Fantastic move off at the line. I mean, that feels like another race ago now. So much has happened. If we can just stick on board now with Eugene in 4th place. Now, soft tyres, we've got 4 laps left. The soft tyres, he's got a run here on the hards.
Let's go on board now. He hasn't got that ERS, he hasn't got ERS though, so he's going to have to do this.
He's got the inside line. It's nice, he's clatters that curb, and that's going to affect his exit. And that's going to look for this inside line now onto turn 4. And they're going to... who's going to be later on the brakes? This is close.
They're keeping a distance. They're being brilliant about it.
Well, Beckett really good racing. Eugene there being respectful of the room. I do think those softs provided still a little bit of a better grip through the corner, but I'm not too sure how much longer they've got left. As Eugene gets a 3-second time penalty.
That'll be for extended track.
Yeah,
that surely must be. I mean, he's kept that clean throughout
that
whole
was
entire lap, so
track.
that must be.
Boris sets the fastest lap. It's a 1:05.5. He's blitzed off nearly a 4-second lead now. Very fantastic. It's a great recovery drive.
Well, there is a yellow flag in sector 3. What has happened?
KTID spun and he's faced in the wrong way, and he's spun again. He's doing donuts. He's lost his wing, and KTID. I'm not too sure what happened. I know Desi, Marty FIFA were in that same part of the track. There's been some contact. It's very rare you see someone spin on the straight.
Oh no, definitely. Unless he must have probably clipped. There seems to be a bit of go with Eugene again.
And Bremboy still fighting for the final podium as Eugene
clips the grass a little bit.
The grass, but it's not room there to overtake.
Right. It's all about who has the best grip now, especially because you've got the soft, probably not going to be good at this time, but you've also got the mediums of Bremboy. This is going to
go all the way to the end.
We're definitely going to sail for this one, definitely.
But let's not discount. You've still got Remy, you've still got Tempo, and also coming on to the end of this battle is Basabi for the final podium place. If this was real F1, this would be absolutely amazing. As KTID gets a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, so that's extending the track.
He's nowhere near one, so yeah.
You've got Bremboy looking to go around the outside. Going to try and throw the switch back. He gets oversteer mid-corner.
Tempo Bremboy.
Remy back. Now he's going to be onto the end of Bremboy. Tell you, he's making these tyres last. It isn't a admirable admirable drive from him, despite the unluckiness. Bremboy, again, he's right on the gearbox, but this isn't where you want to be on his gearbox. This is going to go right to the final lap.
We are literally right now going on to the final lap of this, probably the better than real life Austrian Grand Prix at the start of the season. I mean, let's face it. I mean, it's probably got the same amount of drivers.
Remy picks up a 3-second penalty. Sorry. This is all going to be very close. As Eugene now, I think, has had a bit of an no. Is he? Oh,
no,
this is all
tempos. He's lost his momentum now.
He's pushing so hard at the moment.
Bremboy's
going to look for the inside line. This is the final podium position. Beautiful wheel-to-wheel racing. I don't think either of them are going to get DRS because they went through the detection point.
No, I believe.
The Haas has it.
Haas has it. Is he going to take it down on the inside?
Oh, he's tried to switch. This is it. This is getting extremely close now. Eugene defending for his life.
These two are going wheel-to-wheel on the final lap.
Eugene holds it. It's gone. Oh, I thought it's gone wide. I thought the Haas was going to try down.
It all depends now as we are going on to the lap.
He goes across the line here. A dominant display in qualifying and a great comeback.
Fantastic.
From there. The wall's got a 3-second penalty that could affect some things. We need to get on board with Eugene. Oh, and the Haas goes wide and the Ferrari's going to pick him up on the last corner.
Tempo's 1 second.
All the penalties are
Eugene
going to affect.
is plummeting, mate.
So we must have had a lot of penalties.
He must have done.
It was a spirited drive, no.
You know what?
Really enjoyed that.
That was probably one of the best races. Probably better than what obviously so far that what we've seen this year.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the Austrian Grand Prix this year at the start was insane. Absolutely insane. But with this, you had battles with second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth for an entire race. And then to make things even better, we had a safety car, and that's literally
split the entire field. We're just gonna wait to run down the final positions here. Basabi getting driver of the day. He got second. He came from nowhere. He got himself onto the back of that final pack, and because he kept himself clean and everyone else had picked up penalties, like we pointed out, with a few laps left, that's benefited him, and he finds himself on the second step.
Well, like we said, I mean, Bassi will get the Sabi. He will get obviously the Formula One driver of the day, but let's face it, in our hearts, it's that man right there, right in front of us.
The German. That's where he's from.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a slight dig, but never mind. But let's face it, he was my driver of the day.
Yeah.
Said Fat Man, yes, he started one on the grid, but he came back from that disastrous first lap, and he's come back and he's come out swinging.
Let's
and
just do a race rundown here. You've got Borish in first, Wasabi in second, Tempo. He was first after the safety car, fell as low as sixth, finds himself back third. You've got the Wall in fourth place, Remy, Jesse Formula, Marty FIFA, Bremboy, Eugene and Desi are your top 10. Outside the points paying positions, it's KTID, Attack 4001, it's Lightning 66,
I will say this,
and SFAS.
Let's just wait for a second. I mean, when it comes to KTID, 1, 2, 3, 26 seconds
of penalties.
That's 8. Seriously,
that's half a lap.
I mean, that is half a lap, and with 8 penalties, you would have been disqualified from the race. Surely.
Yeah. Unfortunately, obviously, it's strict on the penalties, but overall, a fantastic win for the McLaren. He's managed to recover from a disastrous start, found himself as low as 8th. He made the early tyre change onto the hard that allowed him to go long, and then he got a little bit lucky with it, but luck is part of the game.
Definitely.
That was a good race.
That was a great race. And you know what? I cannot wait for next week. Next week, I believe it is the British Grand Prix. I'm going to have to look up on that one, but still, I can't wait for next week. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Racing on this game is going to bring us thrills. It's going to bring tears. Let's face it. The real winner here, Formula One. Guys, thank you very much for joining us, obviously, for the Wwrl F1 2020 Championship for the 2020-21 season. Thank you, Matt, for obviously joining me. This is your first commentary.
Anytime.
Thank you. Seriously, thank you so much, guys.